According to some recent research, some of today's retirees are enjoying some freedom and time for personal pursuits, whilst others are really struggling financially. So we've put together a top 10, and these are tips for retirees that will cover income, financial planning, health, and long-term care. I'll run through the top 10 quite quickly and then revisit some in a bit more detail. So number 1 is to create a written financial plan to help ensure that your savings last your whole lifetime. So we're talking about factoring in living expenses and debt repayments, savings and investments, and sources of guaranteed retirement income. Also, healthcare needs, insurance protections, investment returns, inflation, taxes, and the possible need for long-term care, and also a potential legacy. Number 2 is to pay off debt and avoid taking on new debt, especially high interest rate debt. But be careful with mortgage debt. Sometimes it makes more sense to keep that on for a while. So you need to really consider your overall financial situation in terms of your mortgage and how much you owe and the repayment terms. Also, number 3, consider part-time work to bring in some additional income and opportunity, and also helps you stay active and involved. Number 4 is planning and budgeting for home modifications that will enable you to stay in place as you get older. If these modification costs are too high, then consider an alternative such as, potentially downsizing your home or joining a retirement community. Number 5 is to assess the potential need for long-term care. So learning about the types of available care, the costs, and the possible eligibility for support on this. Number 6 is to identify a trusted loved one and have frank conversations about your wishes and concerns. So build a common understanding about the potential need for your needs as you get older. Put your financial affairs in order and establish legal documents such as power of attorney, both financial and health related. Also potentially a living will and a last will and testament. Also funeral and burial arrangements. Number 8 is about taking care of your health to promote well-being and enjoyment of life and potentially reduce some health-related care costs. Number 9 is important one. Protect yourself from scams. Don't become a victim of elder fraud. Be hyper-vigilant. Learn about scams and how to avoid them. Protect your identity and safeguard your assets. And the last in the list of 10 is to actually envision what your life plan looks like and align your values and your priorities against these. And this can help you make the right kind of spending decisions and create a financial plan that suits you specifically. So let's look at one of them in a bit more detail.
Your computer has a virus. Your grandchild is in trouble halfway across the world and needs cash. Nearly everyone has gotten a scam call like this, and we keep getting them because they work. Some people panic and send money or give the caller access to their computer, compromising their identities and financial information in the process.
Your call is very important to us. Please stay on the line and you'll be transferred to the next available agent.
Thank you for calling support. You are speaking to Chi. How may I help you?
Yeah, I got a screen showing this number.
Okay, can you tell me what exactly the screen says, or how did you call us?
The screen says there's a hacking risk or something.
Okay, and when did you get this alert on the computer?
Half hour ago.
This seems like any other customer service call, right? Someone has a technical problem, so they call tech support to get it fixed. But that's not all what's happening here. Hackers actually put that alert on the man's computer specifically to get him to call them.
The alert that you read it to me, it seems it's a hacking and it's a network compromising issue. You know what I mean. So do not take a chance with that. You have heard the news is there are a lot of attacks that are going on, and we are getting a lot of calls in a day. Like we get approximately 30 to 40 calls in a day where people are attacked with ransomware attacks. that happened recently. You may have heard about that. Yeah? So these things are really growing. So I just want you not to take any chances and do not be skeptical about it.
Yeah, let me think about it and I'll give you a call back.
But sir, at that point of time, the computer might end up. You might lose any of your financial data. But sir, till the time you will think the computer might not work. The network might be damaged. Your banking, emailing, Facebook, anything can damage. That's what I'm saying.
I understand you. So let me think about it. I'll call you back. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Bye.
What you just heard is a recording of an actual scam call that the FBI got as part of an investigation. The saleswoman, operating from a fraudulent call center in India, tries to convince this unsuspecting man that his computer has a virus. She would have taken the money from him to fix the non-existing problem, or worse, hack his computer, potentially drain his bank account. Luckily, despite the hard sell, the man thought better of it and hung up. Unfortunately, many people in this situation don't realize they're being scammed until it's too late. Imagine how the recipient of that call must have felt, scared and confused. He was probably interrupted from his daily routine and told he had to take immediate action or face dire consequences. This happens all the time. An unsuspecting victim gets a call that seems legitimate. They panic and wire cash, or send the caller a gift card or even cryptocurrency. By the time they realize they've been fooled, their money's traveled halfway across the world. Law enforcement often can't get it back. While public awareness and education are key, the scammers can't take your money if you hang up on them. So now that you've learned a bit about these scams and how we're combating them, how can you protect yourself and your family from them? Most importantly, know that legitimate companies will never call you and offer tech support out of the blue. If you get a call like this, hang up. Here are some additional tips from Rachel Yurkovich and Matt Reynolds.
Mostly, the biggest thing we ever say is just to slow down and think. Like I said earlier, the scammers are really good at creating the sense of urgency and panic within people. And if most people would just stop to think about what they were doing or what was occurring, they would realize that what is happening isn't normal, shouldn't be happening. Also, we always say to keep your virus scan software up to date on your computers. That will help eliminate pop-ups. That will help eliminate malicious software being installed on your computer. That's the two biggest things, is if people just stop and think, take a breath, go ask somebody else, hey, this is happening. What do you think is happening? What do you think this is about? Many times a scammer will tell people, don't tell anybody this is happening. You can't let anybody know. That's a big clue.
Another thing to keep in mind is never let someone claiming to be tech support have remote access to your computer or other device. Reynolds explains that often these fake call centers will get a victim on the phone and send them a link to download malicious software on their computer. Once that scammer is in your computer, they have access to all of your personal information and files and can even drain your bank accounts.
And so that's where it becomes really a big dollar loss game, where not only are victims paying a couple $100 for non-existent tech support services, but at times their financial accounts are being depleted at a moment's notice. And so that's what is really concerning, because of that, remote access that's being granted to the bad actors.
Reynolds adds that if you or someone you know is victimized by one of these scams, don't be afraid or ashamed to come forward and report it. You can report fraud to your local police department and the FBI at ic3.gov. The FBI believes that these crimes often go underreported.
We know that there is a bit of a barrier to reporting because of the fact that many victims are just quite honestly embarrassed, or they feel shame from having been defrauded in this way, and they would rather conceal their victimization than speak up and bring it to the attention of law enforcement. And so that's why the FBI and some of our other federal partners try to put out as much messaging as we can, so as to say, hey, this is very, very common and we want to know about it, and please know that you're not the only one out there. And so that's why we are trying to ramp up our outreach campaigns.